All right, we are looking like we're live. I think everything's good here. Just kind of checking in. Let's see. Okay. All right, everything's looking pretty good on my end, guys. What's going on, everyone? Good evening, and welcome back to the Xbox Roundtable podcast. With this being show number 295, your place on Sunday nights for Xbox talk and so much more from around the game industry. I'm Invader, and we've got a load of stuff to get through tonight. Earlier this week, we saw the first trailer released for Grand Theft Auto 6, causing the internet to go freaking nuts, really. We'll go through our thoughts on that trailer, plus that little old thing called the Game Awards. You know, there are plenty of new trailers and reveals, announcements from the event. We'll discuss our personal favorites and how Xbox did overall, and just how we felt about the Game Awards, I think, is going to come up as well. But before getting into all those fun things, let me introduce my illustrious panel members tonight. Starting off with Crusader. How you been?
I'm good. Today was really long. Uh, I ran not one but two different events in an auditorium, the light soundboard theater. So I'm very EP tonight, but it's been good otherwise.
Yeah, I think I saw you post a picture of that. You were definitely keeping busy for the day. So good on you. Good on you, pal. Next up, Dots. Hey, bud. Great to see you here. How you been?
I've been doing good. Been a busy work weekend for me, but I get to relax for a bit for the rest of the week and, get back to some games. Um, been constantly still having fun playing Halo Infinite, especially with that new firefight mode that's been out. I've been having a blast playing that during the whole last week. Definitely something, people should get back into, I think. And other than that, I got Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. I got past the tutorial. Good so far. I definitely will dive more into that soon in the future. But I've heard a lot of good things from people who've gotten further in the game than I have. So, if you're a Warhammer 40k game, there's another one to add to your list while you wait for Space Marine 2 next year.
Yes, and we got a, a release date, a proper release date for that, but we'll touch on that a bit later. Yeah, Rogue Trader actually looks really in depth and surprisingly a lot of fun. I'm very curious about it. I want to check it out. So, and I think MLD does as well. Let's see, Eric Shockley. Hey, bud, I saw you pop in there. How you been? And all right, Shockley, I think you're muted at the moment or away. Next, I'll go over to Grimes. Grimes, how you been doing?
What's going on? I've been doing good. Finally beat Rollerdrome. Really fun game. I mentioned it last week.
Mm-hmm.
And then just been chilling. Nothing really happened this week, so doing good.
All right, that's good. Yeah, I do have that game downloaded. I played a bit of the tutorial. I just haven't had a chance to really go in depth on it, but interesting art style for sure. And moving on, the man from the desert, Centurion. How you been?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Just staying busy, trying to game while I can. Still grinding through Outriders, but now also having to juggle Avatar, the new Avatar game that came out. Just enjoying what gaming has to offer.
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I've been doing a little bit of gaming myself. Played a little bit of Halo, just not the new firefight mode yet. I just kind of experimented with some stuff on the maps, and yeah, just a little bit of this and that. I definitely want to start playing RoboCop sometime soon. I've had that on the back burner for a little bit, and hey, I'm stoked to play that. Let's see. Still waiting on MLD. I think he'll be coming in soon, but until then, Shockley, are you there?
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm here.
how you been, pal?
It's been a really rough week. Just some personal stuff that going down, so I didn't get really any chance to play much. Started playing a little bit of Ever Crisis on the mobile, kind of like a reimagining of like where it takes like all the different releases, like I think Crisis Core, basically all the different iterations. I think Advent Children, and like mashes them together in kind of like a mobile, straightforward kind of like story. So been kind of tinkering with that because I was hyped when they first announced it, and then I think they just had a beta, and then we had to wait for a while. So I was just trying to get back to that, just inch my way back into some gaming, but definitely want to get into it this week, especially with I think been kind of reinvigorated with the announcements and some of the stuff we'll get into here in a bit. But yeah, definitely need to get into some of these games that just dropped on some of these sales too. So yeah, ready for these topics.
Well, there was a couple of announcements at the Game Awards that I'm like, yeah, Eric Shockley, he's all over that, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But guys, yeah, before we begin with the first topic, just a quick reminder, very quick, just to smash the like button and share out the show in case you haven't done that already. Would love to get more eyes and ears here and more people in the chat. Chat looking pretty lively so far. Great to see you all here. But yeah, be really kind, to help us out with those pesky algorithms and such. You know the drill, guys. You know how it goes. But yeah, why waste any time? Let's get into our first topic. And let's see. Earlier this week, we got our first look at Grand Theft Auto 6. The trailer actually leaked a little earlier than it was supposed to. But Rockstar just kind of said, well, screw it, and released it anyways. The game looks like another massive open-world playground set in Vice City, aka Miami, with the focus set around two characters, it seems, with lots of crazy stuff inspired by real-life Florida events. Florida man is real, guys. I'm very curious what the crew thinks with this reveal trailer. Dots, you know what? I'll go over to you first. I don't know if you're a lover of the franchise at all, but you probably saw the trailer. Any thoughts on it?
I have seen the trailer. I'm also probably one of the few people who's never played a Grand Theft Auto game in their life. I don't. It's no negativity towards the franchise. I just never really gotten the chance, and then it just hasn't stuck since then. But no, I saw the trailer. I honestly, my brain didn't put Florida together until I saw the alligator walking into the grocery store, and that made me laugh pretty hard. But no, it's a game that is long overdue. Even if though I'm seeing a lot of crazy rumors about Rockstar's plans of how they're gonna price the game. But that's a future topic when they actually get closer to releasing it. And what they said, 2026 or just 5? I don't.
25.
25,
okay.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it got delayed to 26. But but no. So no, I saw the trailer. It looked good. I definitely when I saw the comparison video of all the references to actual events in Florida. That was a lot of fun just seeing that. But I'm interested to see where it goes. But at the same time, the trailer, outside of showing what Miami's going to look like, it's definitely interesting seeing the story that a lot of people will go through, and then they'll overlook for the next 10 years or so after they beat the campaign, and then they just do nothing but multiplayer for the rest of the time. So. Well, at the moment, it's just kind of another wait and watch situation until we see some good stuff, and I think we'll see some good stuff. So,
all right. I mean, spoiler alert, guys. I did get married back in May, and for my honeymoon, I went to Florida back in July, and I spent a week on Miami Beach. So it was interesting seeing the trailer, right? they have a lot of buildings that are similar to the real life counterparts. And on like the stretch of Miami Beach, the hotel I was at, there's like one that's like nearly identical, seen in the trailer. I'm like, oh man, they really got it. So
you can go to some of those Scarface shots, like where they
yeah.
where that first early scene where you have the chainsaw in the bathtub, that whole building, and like I forget what it is. I think it's like a CVS now, but like that motel or hotel from that early shot of the movie.
They're still
You
around.
can go to that location.
They're
Yep.
still around. The Fountain Blue, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're still. Yeah, the whole bunch of them are still around. I mean, there's different parts of that strip. I was more towards like the south side. That's a little more northward, but either way, pretty fun area to say the least. I know Grimes has been around there. Speaking of which, Grimes, why don't you tell us our thoughts? I'm assuming you've seen the GTA 6 trailer.
Yeah, no, I haven't. Absolutely no. What are you talking about? But what's fair to say, it looks as good as always. I remember when the previous videos leaked like a year or 2 years ago, and every dum-dum was trashing Rockstar for how bad it looked, but tell me you don't understand how video game development works. And now we see how great it actually looks. I can't wait. I'm not bothered at all by the female protagonist. I feel like it's great. They're known for making amazing storylines and great characters. So I can't wait to see what they've got cooking with that character. And just like Dots mentioned, I love how they captured Florida in that trailer with the real life events captured on the news. But it's so Florida. I do miss the 80s vibes, but you know, like Vice City, the original Vice City game was so
Right.
fun. So I do miss those vibes, but yeah, it's whatever. And you know, GTA 4, I can't believe Dots hasn't played any of the GTA games. GTA 4 is one of my. I know, I'm sorry, dude, but
No, don't apologize. It's fine. I just haven't played them.
yeah.
I think I might have played like GTA 5 for like 5 minutes with one of me and Crusader's friends, and then he immediately airstriked me as soon as I got into the game, and I was like, "All right, that was fun." And I stopped playing.
Is that Rob?
No, it was Arbaz.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Bad checks.
I love GTA 4 is probably my favorite one in the series thus far because of the characters, setting, and hilarious expansions like the Ballad of Gay Tony, if such a crazy character. And you know, it's of course it's disappointing that they haven't announced PC day one, and it's disappointing. But Rockstar knows exactly what they're doing. They know you're gonna buy it twice. I bought GTA 4 twice. Once when it came out, when it originally came out, and then a few weeks ago when it was on sale for back compat. And I did the same thing with GTA 5. I bought it when it first came out for the 360, and then when it came out on Xbox One. It will be interesting to see how they expand on GTA Online. Would love to see if the rumors of you being able to travel between cities like Liberty City, Vice City, and Los Santos come to fruition. I definitely played loads of GTA Online for several years. but haven't touched it since the nightclub expansion. So it's been a while. I actually met one of the DJs from the club expansion a few months ago, the Blast Madonna, and she's super a dope person. But I digress. And for the people complaining that it's gonna be a 2025 release, bruh, it's only 12 months away. It's not a big deal. We've waited 11 years for the game to come out. Surely we can wait 12 to 16 more months. So I can't wait, and I'm so hyped. Yeah, can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it is exciting. GTA is just one of those franchises that, it just gets really, really, it really gets people excited, frothing at the mouth, like waiting just to play this franchise. It's like Call of Duty.
They've never done a bad character in any of the games. Every single character is written so well.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly do have a strength with knowing their characters. They definitely do a lot of their homework on for sure. Not that, I mean, I haven't played all of the GTAs going back, but I certainly have experience in them. Moving down the list here. Oh, GeneralMLD. Hey, I just saw you there sneak in. How are you doing?
Hey, yeah, doing pretty good. It's been a good week. Game Awards were fun. And looking forward to this fun chat here.
Of course. Well, since I got you up here, you got any thoughts on the GTA 6 trailer?
Oh yeah, I really got hyped for the trailer there. The graphics look stunning. Even just thinking about it now, there was like an overhead shot of like a beach area, and the water was like really good looking. Even the NPCs are modeled very well. So you can tell Rockstar puts the effort into their games. Their release windows have slowed down considerably since San Andreas, but at least the games they do give you, like, that every area is meticulously handcrafted, and in that regard, it does show. So I'm looking forward to to explore the world that they are going to create for us. As for the dual protagonists, fine with me. So long as they give people the choice to play the guy or the girl, I don't see the issue there. I mean, yeah, having a female protagonist, we are no stranger to that in gaming, so people shouldn't be outraged about that. That's not an issue for me. I'm sure the gameplay is going to be good. Yeah, like those leaked alpha videos, like I never bought into that. Game development is what it is. That kind of stuff happens always near the end anyway. The release window 2025, I'm not worried about that either, because we waited this long. What's another year? I mean, we're already in December, so it's going to be 2024 before we know it. And the game's ready when it's ready. I mean, we're not going to ask for a rushed game, especially after waiting this long. So I'm confident it'll be good. Yeah, nothing else really much to say. I hope we get more information soon. But yeah, it's crazy how much this game is just blowing up online. How popular this franchise truly is. Like, GTA 5, it really took things up a notch. I'd say they really handled GTA Online very well over the years, and that's also a big reason why. So I think it'll also have a good online component. At the same time, though, I know that if we play this game at launch, they're gonna remaster this thing for the next generation, and so on and so forth. So if you buy it at launch, you do that with the knowledge that you're going to be playing this game more than one time, because they're going to give you better versions down the road. So if you're fine with that, if you got that FOMO, if you don't want to miss out at launch, hey, by all means play it, but keep that in mind. I say that we're going to play better versions later. So yeah, I hope they give us more information soon, and I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you brought up the female protagonist. I think her name's Lucia or Lucia, something like that.
Yeah.
Lucia. I mean, I know it's been a while for GTA, but I mean, going back all the way to the first GTA, you could select. There was actually a few. I think there was like 4 or 5 different female characters you could choose from then. I know that it's like a different era of GTA, but it's not like it hasn't been seen in the series altogether. I mean, in the more modern ones, yes. But with this game, I would say like I'm getting a Bonnie and Clyde kind of vibe personally.
Yes.
Just because it focuses on the two, though, right? The guy and the girl.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of curious where they take it. I mean, I'm assuming you could switch between both. I mean, that would make sense, a la, GTA 5. But I'm really curious about the story opportunities here, and just from the hints that are given, I'm very curious where they take it personally.
Also,
mhm.
I just thought of it now. I wonder how they're gonna do the whole social media part. I just forgot about that. Like, there's a part where they're streaming, and I wonder how much that has to do with the how much that's integrated into the game and what that actually does for you, or if that's just part of the story. Because yeah, that's certainly something that GTA 5 doesn't do.
I'm very curious how they tackle quite a few things, whether it be social media, commentary, ads, all that. I can just imagine, considering everything was on overload back in a game that was from 2013. So very curious. Shockley, buddy, I mean, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I can't remember. Are you a GTA fan at all? Got a history with it? What do you think of GTA 6 so far?
Yeah, it looks pretty dope. I'm excited that it's going to Vice City. It is, yeah. Also, as mentioned, kind of a downer that it's still not the 80s. Just because we haven't. Pretty much all of them have been, since I would say GTA 4 being kind of like where it went from that more soft look to more of like a realistic looking game or character models. It's kind of just done whatever present day is at that time. So it would have been kind of cool if they did a jump back to the 80s or a different time period. But overall, it's cool that they're still going to that same area, so you can kind of actually still get some of that feel of like, hey, here's what that map looks like now. And there's been like shots and comparisons of like that little middle island that was like, maybe it seemed decent size when we all first played Vice City, but is like massive. It's it's almost the size it looks like of like one of the big islands in the old games. So the city looks amazing, and just like comparing it to like GTA 5, graphically, it's just like you can see the leap there, and if everything looks that good, and hopefully, I'm guessing it might be 30 FPS on a Series X and PS5, unless we have pro consoles by then. But hopefully, it's also when they said 2025. Hopefully, it's like at least first half. I wouldn't see what. I mean, I guess the GTA 5, I think released. I think it was like in fall, like it was right before the new consoles dropped.
It was September.
September, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they're going to go with it again. But it'd be cool if they did spring, because if anything, I don't see why not. Because you're going to have that game sells regardless, as we've all kind of seen it hit those records. So I don't think they'd be afraid of like not landing it right on the holiday season. It's gonna just sell ridiculous all through the year, and it just looks pretty sick. So, but yeah, I'm glad we're finally at least getting it acknowledged, because it's like, what are you guys working on? You did Red Dead, and then for like it's been 10 years. So it's like, what are you guys actually spending all this time on, other than just like doing updates? Or I'm just baffled by like how long GTA 5's gone on, especially how that online started, because it was kind of shit in that first month or first year or so. They even
They
had to
almost
like.
abandoned it, if you remember.
Oh, you said what?
I said they almost abandoned GTA Online at first.
Yeah, they would anybody that like played it in that first like month or so, they like gave you a bunch of credits and stuff like that to kind of like save face. But yeah, it's just ridiculous how it's sold, and just like pretty much probably prolonged us ever getting another GTA. But at least we know it's happening, and we've at least seen glimpses of it. It's not just like, hey, here's a logo and that's it. So that's cool. So we know it's at least further along. And it's not going to be like, hey, 3 years out, and they're actually trying to put a release year on it. So, but yeah, it looks sick. Yeah, I'm definitely down for the female protagonists. I kind of want it to be more of centered around one person again versus like what they did in GTA 5. Like that was cool for the novelty of it. But I don't really care about like already the way they're setting it up. It seems like all the personalities like with that main character. I didn't get any glimpse of like the other person in this. So if you're supposed to go between him and her, which doesn't make too much sense. It looks like they're around each other enough, at least paired up. So I'm hopeful it just stays with, and it looks like that's what it's doing, because the whole introduction of the story and everything seems like it's centered around her. So I don't really care about the whole jumping between characters on the fly out of nowhere. It was cool that they did it, because it was like, oh, this is different, and really cool how it just like zooms out and goes to a different character. That was cool in 2013. I don't really care about it now. So but it would be cool if it's a stronger narrative around one person again, like they've been doing. But yeah, definitely hype. I haven't even touched GTA 5 online since like that first year, like back on the 360, before the new consoles drop. So maybe I'll try to touch that just to kind of get like what they're probably going to go for, just because I haven't. But I'll definitely be down to test, jump in on the online on this fresh for sure. But yeah, it would be cool to see different Easter eggs. I'm sure they'll have from like Vice City in the 80s, because they can kind of have some of those, or some of the same characters that might be still on their same radio stations, or stuff like that. So just as far as like, hey, if you played Vice City, here's some things that are still around in the city. But yeah, it looks sick. I'm definitely hyped for it. But yeah, hopefully it doesn't get delayed any further. And yeah, I'm praying for the first half release, because man, if it's 2025, end of year, almost 2026, it's like come on. But yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I guess it would be kind of nice to go back to a focus campaign, but we still got a lot of information to learn about the game, so we'll see what they tell us down the road. Let's see, Crusader. I mean, I'd love to know your thoughts. I'll be honest, I can't remember if you're like played GTA at all or not, but what'd you think about the trailer, anyways?
I thought it was okay. I haven't enjoyed a Grand Theft Auto since San Andreas. I didn't really like 4. I never finished 5. In fact, I kind of fell off Rockstar games in general. I liked the first Red Dead a lot, but like I was also unable to finish Red Dead 2. Just didn't care for it. So they have, and it's something that I agree with. Like Jeff Grubb wrote a great article about it. They have this like uncanny realism where like they keep going for these like hyper realistic things, but it just leads to it feeling very uncanny valley, at least for me. I was a little upset, or not upset. I was a little sad that like this was basically just a visual showcase trailer, because it was a trailer that had an announcement for its announcement, and it was almost in like there was like no gameplay shown whatsoever, and like people are like, this is what Rockstar always does, and I'm like, that doesn't mean I enjoyed it before when they did it either. I think it looks visually really good. Like what the like as a visual tech demo trailer. But I can't say that I'm hyper excited for it. I'll probably get it when it comes out because everyone will be playing it. But yeah, I don't know. I think Rockstar peaked with San Andreas. Way back when. That's a game that like I even played the bad version of it when it came to when it came out. That was last year, right? The 3D remasters.
That's right, it was
Oh, the
last year.
I even
collection.
played the bad version of it and had a freaking blast. But like then I tried to go back to GTA 5 after that, and I was like, man, I'm not having a good time. So it's definitely a me thing. And I don't want to rain on anyone's parade. I'm just not hyper excited for it. I think I need to see more of it in action.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would say that's fair commentary too. I mean, we've only seen so much of it. In-game engine stuff, like not real true gameplay. Just lots of hints, right? But yeah, it's still very curious anyways.
I think the main character seems like it'll be freaking, or at least the character they introduced to us, I should say, because it does look like it's the split protagonist again. At least from the leak from last year.
Mm-hmm.
At least the one they introduced to us, I think it'll be cool. And I think the tone of the character seemed better than any of the characters except for maybe Franklin
Yeah.
in GTA 5, because Franklin was like the only character that I really liked in GTA 5. I got like halfway through it. I found both Trevor and Michael to be annoying. And I never got into the multiplayer. I don't like the way that most of Rockstar's games control, so I didn't really find the multiplayer to be all that enticing. But like tons of people are excited for it, and I'm happy that tons of people are excited for it. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can relate. I mean, I won't pretend like I'm the biggest GTA guy out there, but I do enjoy it. That being said, I got frustrated with Rockstar with the GTA 5. I got a nasty bug in the game, and to my knowledge, they wouldn't fix it for the longest time, so I kind of went off of GTA 5, and now I had started playing again through Game Pass, but Rockstar, like, I know there's a lot of bugs, they're grand games, but it's really annoying when you can't get past a certain section, and it just puts you off, all right? Let's see. Centurion, I would love to know your thoughts. With the other guys, I'm not sure if you're a huge GTA guy or if you've played it in the past, but you must have watched the trailer. What are your thoughts on it?
I watched the trailer. And can I be entirely honest and just, like, I guess speak from the heart?
Maybe a quarter of your heart. Okay, yes, of course you can speak with your heart.
Well, people are probably going to wonder why I'm asking it like that, but all right, well, for starters, I'm happy that the community, the gaming world, the gaming community is going to get their Grand Theft Auto game. They've waited a long time for it, but and that's where, at least for starters, I'm probably going to be a little reserved in getting FOMO for the game, because of past issues with, obviously, Rockstar rushing stuff or going for money grabs with like the Grand Theft Auto remastered trilogy. They've also done some silly stuff like the remaster of Red Dead Redemption, the original. There's just some things there that make me go like, I feel like maybe I should really just pay close attention, take what information that I can when it comes out, and really just hold back judgment until maybe even wait to see, like, I hate to be this guy, but you know, if I was to pre-order the game digitally, I probably would not download the game right away. I would probably wait for probably 48, 72 hours just for people to come out and say whether or not there's bugs, so that way I could still refund the game if necessary. And that's just because of things that we've seen take place. And that's where I'm not trying to like rain on anybody's parade. It's great that Grand Theft Auto is starting to have another game, but that's where I was never one of those types that got on the Grand Theft Auto hype train. There's a reason why I own the physical disc for the Grand Theft Auto Remaster Trilogy. I never played. I think I played Grand Theft Auto 4. Yeah, I did. I played Grand Theft Auto 4. And that one I kind of puttered out on. I've dabbled a little bit in San Andreas, but I never beat it. Same with Vice City, never, and also Grand Theft Auto 3. It's like I never found something to keep me going, so that's where I'm like trying to go back now to enjoy them. But this is where I speak from the heart. I understand the FOMO behind these games because there's a lot of people that love that I'm a rebel, that I'm gonna live this wild lifestyle vicariously through that game. And for me, I lived that reality at one time. And so therefore I don't get too excited over these Grand Theft Auto games because I'm just like, that's cool. I think I'd rather play a good sci-fi game or something to make me like kind of forget the reality of like actually the dumb crap that goes on in the world. But that's where I that's what captured me about Grand Theft Auto 5 was I actually knew people that were like Trevor. And the moment I was in the trailer park as Trevor and you see the guy get up on the porch of the trailer, the mobile home, dressed up like ICP, I'm like, oh my, that totally hit home for me because I have literally seen people running around in clown makeup. And I was just like, okay, so these games really do know how to hit that realism mark for things that go on in the world. And we're seeing that in the trailer. That's something that kind of like, man, I really hope they can capture that essence again, as we could see in like there was a lot of references in the trailer that you could actually connect to real life events that are going on in Florida, and I thought it was quite hilarious. But when it comes to the actual story of Grand Theft Auto 6, I'm not concerned about it being a female protagonist. I don't care if it goes between a male and a female. Like one moment you're her, the next minute you're him. I never even thought it was a big deal in Grand Theft Auto 5 that they split it up between the three of them. Because it was like, that's what I thought was good about Grand Theft Auto 5 is you have the retired bank robber trying, like that's under witness protection, that is just trying to live in the suburbs.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
I mean, dude, yeah.
I mean, it's been
dude,
like
I'm sorry.
11, 12 years now.
Yeah, and also, by the way, as a small joke, when you're born in the world, you get a birth certificate, a social security card, and a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5.
That's why they sell that many copies.
Yeah.
Be fair, I mean, they probably have handed out that many copies by now.
No, they probably have. I mean, as a matter of fact, they started backdating, making sure that anybody that was collecting a social security check or on Medicare also got their copy of Grand Theft Auto 5. So that, I mean, that game is still gangbusters, but this is one thing, like the story between, like we saw with, you know, forgive me, I forget the bank robber's name, but Michael, you know, because obviously he lives in the rich suburban neighborhoods and he's got these spoiled ass bratty kids. You got Trevor, who's an out of his mind frickin' meth cook. And then you got Franklin living in the hood, just trying to make ends meet and try to just kind of like get himself out of the hood. And you have these three dudes that never in their well, other than Trevor and Michael knowing each other from the past, but let's face it, you have these three dudes that come from total different backgrounds that you never in a million years would thought the three of them be like, hey, we're going to get together and do some stuff. And they just go on this wild adventure of where things just keep getting out of control to the point where at the end of the game, these dudes are like, you know, depending on how you played the game, you could literally have these three brothers in arms that have just gone through hell together. And I really do feel that Grand Theft Auto 5 had a good story, and some really good writing. Same with Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, the reason why I bring up this train of thought is so I just read an article today about how the writers for Grand Theft Auto 5 and the writers for Red Dead Redemption 2 have left Rockstar Games, and they're actually out creating their own game. If I'm correct, they actually started their own studio and they're crafting their first game, and they showed like a screenshot of it and it looked really cool. But now that's kind of like it goes down the road, and this is where even Crusader could feel me on this. You know, we're huge BioWare fans. The Dragon Age and also Mass Effect, but a lot of those people are no longer there to really write those games. And so there's concern from people like Crusader and myself that is Mass Effect 4 and is the next Dragon Age game going to be cohesive with the story, or is it just going to make no sense, or is the writing just going to be god awful because the people that crafted those games in the first place are no longer there. And that's one of those things with Grand Theft Auto 6 that I'm wondering, are they just going to go for all this, amazing shock and awe of trying to connect the game to real life events, but when it comes to the story, is there going to be any real substance to the story? This is going to be in my at least my train of thought, is this game going to be what we have seen from Rockstar Games in the past, or is this going to be something totally different? Because the people that really crafted the games that we're all excited about, because Rockstar Games is this amazing pedigreed developer, but I just do wonder, are the people that helped them earn that moniker, were they responsible for it, or is by some chance Rockstar Games able to continue on without these folks?
Yeah, that's a concern of mine too. And it's funny you mentioned the Mass Effect thing. Like, I don't know, I played Andromeda. I don't know if they can come back from a game like that to what the trilogy represented to me.
Well, that's so if Crusader, didn't you say they did bring back at least one of the writers from the original trilogy for Mass Effect?
I have no idea about the writers, but the game director was the heir apparent to Mass Effect. So like,
okay, so there's at least one pedigreed person there that could be like, hey, the lore doesn't match up. I
never really worry about those things with games, because when they take 5 years to make, that's always bound to happen.
Right.
So like, that doesn't even when people are purposely let go, then I get a little concerned. Like the lady who was responsible for creating Dragon Age's Tapestry, which for those who don't know, the Tapestry is basically the in-house like concept for like what is supposed to happen throughout all 5 games. Because Dragon Age is supposed to be 5 games. It's supposed to represent the Pentateuch in Jewish Christianity, the first 5 books of the Bible. But I digress with that. They let her go in the layoffs this year with BioWare, so like that I'm concerned about. When you purposely are letting go of people that do that, but like I don't know. That's actually one concern I don't really have with Rockstar, because if anything, it'll feel they'll make it feel too similar to their last games by not having the former staff.
Yeah,
I have the exact opposite concern, is that it'll feel too much like the last ones.
One of the people that I listened to a lot that always gave me a lot of great like insight on Grand Theft Auto told me it was because of the writers leaving the writers from Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 5 is why Rockstar Games has had such difficulties in getting this game out. This is why it's taken 11 years, because the story direction for the game has just been not very cohesive and not able to line up. And that's where it feels like there is potential that Rockstar Games is just going to be focusing on trying to recreate the games as a service nature of Grand Theft Auto 5 into Grand Theft Auto 6. And that there is a small inkling of a chance that there might be as of an engaging story as we saw in Grand Theft Auto 5.
You see, that's a genuine fear, right? Because like GTA Online like is like huge and is like one of the greatest money makers in the industry, right? Like it's up there with the likes of Fortnite and the FIFAs and Call of Duty and Minecraft, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, are they going to go? Are they going to invest far more into that than they are into the single player game? That
See,
is a huge
and
concern.
that's the only thing. When I completed Grand Theft Auto 5, I actually enjoyed the ending. When I completed Red Dead Redemption 2, I actually shed a little bit of a tear for like what really went down. And I'm just like wondering, is it going to be that engaging of a story where I actually feel an emotional commitment to the game I just played versus like, well, it was cool to blow stuff up and break the law and steal cars and just do illegal crap. Oh well, that
Yeah.
experience is over.
That's my concern too. It's for me. It's mostly the writing. I find in the last few years, especially, a game could be well made from the ground up, but the writing just takes a nosedive, in my opinion. Like I find myself rolling my eyes more and more these days, and I really hope that hasn't also affected Grand Theft Auto. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I feel like they got a hit on their hands, and they got to do it justice. So that's that's what I'm telling myself, that the game will have good writing. So we'll see.
That's always
what
the
we'll
hope,
see.
right?
We'll see.
That's
That's one thing I'm really hoping is that they start getting more into, some story trailers and some gameplay trailers and maybe even a developer dive into the game. Because let's just face it, man, they've had an uphill battle with this game, especially with trying to the leaks that have totally tried to debauch this game. So, like I really do hope that they are able to kind of knock another one out of the park, or rather than just be like, okay, well, this is where are we seeing the actual peak of Rockstar Games, and now they are going to go on the downward slope of this peak, or are they just going to continue climbing?
Well, again, it's still early, as you alluded to, Centurion. That being said, we know automatically that it's going to be a hit. But you're right, we need to see the trailers, and, we got a lot of time, again, sometime in, 2025? So, lots of time between now and then. At least a year and a couple of months, I would say, at the bare minimum. So... lots of time, and hey, you know what? There's plenty of games to play in between then and now, for sure. Guys, any other comments, concerns with GTA, or good to move on? Yes, no?
One thing I'll mention is whoever has a game releasing in 2025 should avoid releasing around the same window.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on that note, I'm actually kind of glad, because at least Hellblade 2 and Avowed can actually have their spotlight and not have their thunder stolen by this game. So there's that too. At least, yeah, Xbox can really shine this next year.
Maybe. Actually, I'd be curious if anybody gets Grand Theft Auto marketing rights at all.
Rumors are PlayStation.
Well,
but
it's gonna be anybody. It's gonna be Sony. They love paying for this kind of crap.
Well, they've had Grand Theft Auto stuff since Xbox turned down 3 and OG Xbox.
Well,
era,
Xbox had it for Grand Theft Auto 4. I remember they had
Did they?
marketing rights for that.
Yes, they did. They did.
But yeah, but now Sony, they got the market share. If they're gonna leverage it, I think they will. But that's just gonna make Xbox push back with something of their own. So that's competition for you.
I don't know if Sony can actually afford it anymore, because Rockstar Take-Two is gonna want millions upon millions of dollars for that marketing. So
I mean, ideally, I like it to be neutral, because they'll know that they're gonna sell tens of millions of copies regardless. Like, yeah, or at least do like double like bundles for both kinds of brands. So, we'll see. We'll see. Ideally, yeah, there should be market neutrality, marketing neutrality.
Oh, come on! If we go off social media logic, they said PlayStation in the press release first, which means that PlayStation's gonna give their first-class consumers content and everything else with the game, because they said PlayStation first.
Ugh.
Obviously, I'm being facetious.
I know.
I was just shocked. Like, I'm just like, they
Uh,
said PlayStation first. I'm like, what are you, 12?
I said PlayStation first because it's alphabetical.
I know. I know. I'm
That
just
is
like,
that is the Occam's razor.
that comes right. Or it could have
The
nothing to do with search engine optimization or anything
Yeah.
else. But nope, they said PlayStation first because they are going to cater to PlayStation fans. You are so right.
Maybe. Yeah, well, again, time will tell on all that, guys. Either way, again, I'm looking forward to the upcoming trailers for it. We get to see more of the game. And, yeah, we shall see. Guys in the chat, I hope, and everybody tuning in, I hope you're all enjoying our conversation here. So far, the GTA 6 conversation has been pretty awesome. If you haven't done so already, please smash that like button and sub to the channel if you're a new face here. I'd love to have you stick around. Also, share us out. Share out this episode. Get more people in here. Make people alert to it because, again, more people here, the merrier. All right, guys. I mean, hey, the GTA 6 trailer, that's a pretty big topic, but we got to get to another pretty hefty one, and of course, that's Jeff Keighley's entertainment extravaganza known as the Game Awards. That happened a few days ago with plenty of different reveals, gameplay, and announcements. Xbox itself had a very large presence at the show, revealing quite a few interesting projects. We got Hellblade 2, some more gameplay for it, Kojima's OD, and of course, Blade. Oh, we'll get into that. And I know everybody here wants to chime in, of course. But you know what? I'll start off with Crusader. What were your impressions of the Game Awards? Anything in particular catch your eye? I know there's probably a few things.
So, like, the thing that caught my eye the most was Exodus, and that should be to absolutely no one on this panel's surprise, because boy howdy did that game look like it was inspired by Mass Effect. That was the sci-fi RPG being made by, is it Ascendant Studios? I believe it's not Ascendant. No, Archetype Studios.
So is that the one that had Matthew McConaughey on stage?
It is the one that had Matthew, and he is in it.
That's correct.
And it's made by Archetype, which is made up of former RPG devs from all over, like the Western RPG studios. As several of their, they have a lot of former BioWare devs and things like that. And like, if it screamed, it looks like heavily inspired by Mass Effect. That was like one of the things that they said it was going to be when they announced their studio a while back. They're owned by Wizards of the Coast, the people who make like Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons. They were opened as an attempt to expand into the gaming industry and into sci-fi. That is probably, it's been one of my most anticipated titles from like a new studio, probably right behind the one from I think it's Humanoid. The people they're run by Casey Hudson, who was the head of, but we haven't seen what's coming from him yet. I know Monster Hunter World was huge. That's what the show ended with. Hideo Kojima's OD. Hideo Kojima's OD, Overdose, which was leaked originally by Jeff Grubb, then the title by Tom Henderson. It's cool to see that, and it's cool to see that Jordan Peele is associated after his relatively highly successful foray into horror with what was the movie that he just released not too long ago?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah. So really cool to see he's involved with this horror project with Kojima. Also, Kojima said that he's not the only major person involved with it. That he traveled. He quote traveled the world looking for people like the Seven Samurai, and that is one of the most Kojima.
I'm very curious about his comments there because it does sound like it's definitely like larger collaborations.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling one of them is Guillermo del Toro because they're really good friends in real life.
Yes, you're right.
I have and he also makes horror stuff, so like it checks. So like that was really cool. Also, did anyone catch the stuff with the door that they walked out of?
Yeah.
Oh,
The door that
PT.
they walked out of
PT.
looks exactly like the PT door. Exactly. Like the conduit for the light is at the exact same angle and everything. As someone who has run electrical in his life, like the fact that it's exactly the same, was run exactly the same, was the biggest tell for me. That like, oh, it's like the same bends and angles and everything. Like it's that was pretty cool. We learned literally nothing about that game other than it's using Unreal's MetaHuman technology. Have you guys seen Unreal's MetaHuman stuff? It's their super lifelike human models.
So
I actually mess around with MetaHuman. It's so cool.
It is. It's super duper cool.
And also, Ninja Theory helped them really perfect MetaHuman in the development of Hellblade 2. Like, a lot of people don't realize that about Ninja Theory, but they definitely put a lot of work in helping Unreal Engine 5 make it to where you can literally record off of an iPhone and process in only a few minutes live on a laptop on stage. And they were talking about that, like with Hellblade 2, the original Hellblade, the first one, they would have to do all the motion capture and send it off to a place where they would render it and do all the like the computer shit. And they said you wouldn't see the stuff for like 20-30 days.
Yeah, the MetaHuman stuff is really cool. It'll be really cool to see that stuff when it's in game. Really excited for that. Blade was an exciting reveal. I was shocked that it didn't have a Game Pass branding at the end of it, and then I was further shocked that they didn't have an Xbox branding anywhere in it. And then I discovered online that I wasn't the only person who was confused why Xbox did that, and to my knowledge, they still haven't posted it on the Xbox YouTube channel. Posted all the other trailers from the night, but not that one. Really weird. Not that I don't think it's not gonna come to Game Pass, or I also think it'll be exclusive. I don't really care about that argument. I don't really care about that conversation though, because like, people who have listened to me on this podcast know that I genuinely don't care about exclusivity as long as I'm getting it on Game Pass. Like I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But like the fact that they weren't associating their brand with it was really strange to me, which means that probably Marvel was in charge of this, but it's still really weird to me that like it wouldn't be a deeper collaboration of like having the brands in there and stuff, because
I don't think they can.
Like, it's just, and then people will bring up Indiana Jones, and it's like Indiana Jones was announced before they were purchased, because it was announced after they had announced they were buying them, but before the acquisition was finished. And so like they wouldn't have put their brand on it legally.
Well, I'll provide the devil's advocate to that narrative, but go on.
And then there's the whole argument that like, oh, they're keeping quiet because of the FTC, and I'm like, the FTC has all of their information. Like that doesn't make sense. Like they have all like they're in court right now. The FTC has discovery power. They have if the sheer fact that they announced this game as a game in general, if they didn't have information on already, they'll just subpoena them because they know it exists, so that they can get all the information about it. So
public perception is public perception. When you're dealing with a lot of money, I'm sorry, but if I had $70 billion on the line, I could care less about your feelings.
Then why the fuck would they announce it in the first place? Like that's what doesn't make sense to me.
It's because we're trying to hire talent.
I suppose. It's still just like I don't buy the argument that they're hiding from the FTC.
Dude, the FTC used the Bethesda roadmap as evidence. They're trying to use Bethesda as the reason why.
Sure,
they're trying to use Bethesda as the reason why they're trying to unthread the merger.
Sure,
and this is totally possible. This is
why Redfall before.
If they wanted to hide it, they wouldn't have announced the game in general, because then the FTC wouldn't know what to look for. But now, if the FTC wants to know how they're handling exclusivity on this, they will subpoena them. Like, now that they know it exists, and now that everyone and their mother is asking, is it exclusive? They will most certainly. Like the sheer fact that the public knows of the game is enough. If we're talking about public perception, is enough for the FTC to.
It's more like don't poke the hornet's nest. Like
They did poke the hornet's nest by announcing it, though. Like the fact that everyone and their mother wrote articles about this is going to poke the FTC's hornet's nest.
Then you've obviously never dealt with anybody that's gone through a divorce, because going through a divorce is one of the messiest things you can ever go through in your life.
My parents got divorced when I was in high school. I know all about it.
I'm just saying, there's some vicious stuff. Like, I'm just saying, you gotta like watch all your P's and Q's. You can't be you can't go out and like start buying fancy cars and stuff because it can make it to where the other half can get more money or something like that. Like dude, legal court stuff is messy.
Sure, and my whole point is
why they didn't show up to the Game Awards last year. I warned everybody, hey, don't get all your hopes up on the Game Awards because Xbox has to make sure they don't screw over this Activision deal. And then everybody got up in arms that they weren't over at the Game Awards. I'm like, dude, Xbox is not going to blow $70 billion because people have their feelings wrapped up in a plastic box.
They weren't at the Game Awards because they didn't have anything to show until the second half of the year.
They could have if they wanted.
They could have if they wanted to.
I mean,
I don't buy the argument. I don't.
Didn't they show stuff a month later?
Yeah,
not even a month. It was literally a month later. Like I don't buy it at all.
Out of 30 days, they all of a sudden they had the magical freaking the IP unicorn come through over at Microsoft and crap out IP within 30 days of the Game Awards.
Well, then arguably they shouldn't have shown stuff within 30 days because the deal still wasn't closed.
Well,
like I don't buy the argument that they're afraid to come to these events and show things. I don't buy it. They thought
the community would actually understand why they didn't show up at the Game Awards. Everybody lost their damn mind and got really immature, and then so they realized that there was going to be a lot of public backlash, and so they had to once again course correct, which is what Phil Spencer is good at, and pivot. And they were like, "All right, fine, we got to throw something together."
They didn't pivot.
Yes,
the developers they was in progress for 3 months. They talked about it, how they'd been planning it for 3 or 4 months. Like, they didn't course correct, they just held it. Like, I don't buy this argument. It's nonsense.
Dude, I'm sorry, but in my world, I actually have to do stuff like this because of, like, I'm sorry, public perception is bad.
If they were hiding, they would have hid until the deal was closed. They wouldn't have held a single event.
Question all around the panel. Just question all around. Is this game going to be exclusive?
Yes.
Yeah, almost
probably
certainly.
more than likely.
Like, I'm not going to say 100% because I'm not going to until they say it.
It's going to be exclusive
I think you can say
platforms where Game Pass exists.
Go ahead, Shockley.
Exactly. I was going to say just that exact same that just said, because he literally said that's what this Bethesda deal was for. Plus, think about it for 1 second, just logically here. If there's no way they renegotiated a deal with Disney to grab Indiana Jones and then go and make another deal with Disney, and no, we're not going to, especially when Marvel has 2 IP that are going to be exclusive to the PlayStation. This kind of gets them that, because they hear it. They hear people talking about, why couldn't you didn't get Spider-Man? You could have had this, but you guys passed on it. Now they have Wolverine.
Yeah.
That's going to get bigger and bigger if Wolverine's a hit. And they have the whole Spider-Verse. They could probably do what Miles Morales, like they've been doing. They could probably do a Venom game. Like, they could do a whole bunch with what they already have, and you don't want to have them keep stacking more and more Marvel games where they have like a whole. Think about if they got Blade. If they just showed off Blade for PlayStation coming, people would be like pack it up. So there's no way that they're making this game. They're funding it too, so it's not like Marvel's funding it for them, and then they're publishing it to put it on PlayStation. There's just no way. If that happens, then yes, you can call for Phil's.
I think this game was in development, but when they purchased Bethesda, well, not in development, but it was part of their strategic plan with Bethesda during the purchase. Because if you dig back in,
there's another licensed game. Yeah.
It was, that's where if you go back and look at the leaks, I even brought this up in my video before the Game Awards came out, at basically the 2024 part of the timeline, you saw other things like Project Platinum, and I forget the other one, which happened to be the frickin' ZeniMax MMO, and in that column it said licensed IP game. What did you say?
Kestrel.
Yes, yeah, Project
So,
Kestrel. But
I
you
will
saw
say,
the words licensed IP game, and everybody always wondered what licensed IP game it was because Indiana Jones was on that list, which
yeah.
meant that this was something that was licensed that nobody knew what it was. And I said in my video that timeline is 1 year behind because every game that's on that timeline, on average, is about a year behind schedule. So I said probably more than likely you'd probably see something off of that timeline pop up. I thought it would be the Doom game or something else, but yeah, they decided to pull the rabbit out of the hat. But that's where I agree with Grimes, is that they're probably trying to hire developers for talent.
I don't think that this is that game though, and the reason I say that is from what we have gathered from what Arcane's been saying about this game was actually just like totally inked, like they are just starting development on it, so it's not coming out anytime soon. I still think the licensed game is from Roundhouse. The other licensed game will be from Roundhouse Studios because we still have no idea what they're working on. Like,
yeah, they've been very quiet.
But I do completely agree that it's almost certainly going to be exclusive. I understand why they didn't have Xbox Series X and S on there. I actually don't think it's going to launch on the Xbox Series X and S. I think it'll be exclusive to their next generation.
See, Crusader, I don't think
it's got 5 years to go. Like it's not coming out anytime soon. Which could be the other reason they didn't use the Xbox stuff, because it's so far out they don't want to associate it with this generation at all, which is fair.
And Aaron did put the profile pic with Xbox on it for 2 seconds.
For like 3 seconds, and then took it away. Which is really strange.
I think that was meant to reassure us, like, hey, we're not saying anything right now, but hey, trust us. So,
I'm just real confused as to why they still haven't posted it on their YouTube, on Xbox's YouTube. Like,
yeah, it's on Bethesda's YouTube.
Like, and that's not even like an exclusive thing. Like, that's a like, why are you not like marketing this with like the main Xbox account? That's just like a weird marketing thing.
It could be a Disney thing.
It could be, but
I get why it's not.
That.
Look at Indiana Jones, same thing there. There's no Xbox branding anyway, and we only know about it because of the hearing.
What, Indiana Jones?
Still...
No, yeah, they had the reason Indiana Jones isn't on the Xbox account is because it was announced prior to the closing.
Yeah, but still they
didn't own
the platforms for anything.
They've still never readjusted anything on the branding anywhere.
We also got a teaser. That's it. We only got the
Well, we basically had the same level of teasers for both of them. Like,
you don't want to start marketing a game that's 5 years away either, right?
It's just really like I would have just slapped the like. I can't believe that Disney would not have let them slap the old Xbox like startup whoosh sound that begins at every Xbox like with every Xbox trailer, and for some reason was on the Persona and like the Persona trailer at the show. The Persona 3
they got marketing rights.
They got marketing rights, but it was really weird that like you don't really see that kind of stuff at the third-party events, like at like Gamescom and this. So like it's like Atlas is just like straight up just like Xbox marketing everywhere. We do one trailer, and that's the trailer that gets used everywhere. I'm gonna move on from whatchamacallit, from Blade. Yeah. The Sega announcement was huge. The Sega the first 5, mind you, games that they are rebooting. Huge. Jet Set Radio, I'm so excited for. The Light No Fire from Hello Games, super hyped for that. Dots and Mai's friend has already beaten the Final Fantasy 16 DLC that came out. That shadow dropped that night. I've already purchased Baldur's Gate 3 when it shadow dropped after the awards. I'm finishing Skyrim, my Skyrim playthrough before I play it. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through the list of stuff. The Moon Studios No Rest for the Wicked ARPG looks sick. It looks like an Ori game, but like totally different, like visually, I should say, right? It's got that Moon Studio hyper stylized, hyper colorful, like look to it,
the
and
detail,
I love it. I love looter JRPG games. So like I'll be there day one. The Dead by Daylight spin-off that's being made by the Until Dawn, The Quarry,
Supermassive.
Yeah, Supermassive. I super excited for that. I love their games. Love their games. The first-person survival Jurassic Park game. I watched the trailer for it and I was like, why haven't we had a game like this in the modern era? This is awesome. The fact that Square Enix announced a JRPG for the Xbox consoles. Hell yeah.
Oh,
With
yeah,
Visions of
that's
Mana.
right.
That was I don't know.
Was that the Mana game?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Visions of Mana. Like
Yes.
who here does everyone know Sixers Octavian on Twitter X? Like everyone encountered him before. He is the JRPG port beggar for the Xbox community. And he was so happy that that was announced. So that's really, really, really exciting, and it shows that Square Enix is moving in a direction. Also, I don't know if anyone caught it, but Final Fantasy 16 has a December 31st end of exclusivity, but they're not bringing it to PC until the spring. So don't expect 16 until at least the spring if it's going to come to Xbox. Hellblade 2 looked awesome. That was a trailer I didn't have any problem putting the Xbox branding on.
Oh,
And
yeah.
man, was the music they did for it so cool. And then the trailer was so good. I wasn't... I have yet to finish the first Hellblade because I have a
Do
hard
it.
time finding a time when I don't want to be in Discord with my friends and sitting and hanging out on a microphone, because that is something you really can't do with Hellblade, right?
You
Because
need-
it's so...
It's only a 5-hour game. It's not long.
I know it's only a 5-hour game, but every time I want to sit down and do it, people will be like, "Hey, hop in chat. Hey, hop in chat."
I do suggest having headphones on.
Yeah,
for
I know.
Hellblade.
Trust me. Yeah. I'm like probably I'm 2 chapters in, and I'll finish it. I'm also trying to get all the collectibles as I'm going, so I am taking a much longer time because I'm trying to get all the lore stones. And I am liking it, but it feels like the kind of game where the sequel is just going to be so much better than the first one. Like at least gameplay wise, story wise, I can't say. Like you look at like Mass Effect 1 and 2, and 2 and 3 just play so much better than 1, even though 1 has this incredible setup and story and like is kind of unrivaled in its world building compared to the other two. But I feel like this is going to be another one, or like I liked Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition's gameplay far more than I liked Origins, and I feel like this is going to be another example of a game where like I really liked the story and world of the first one, but man, is the second one just so much better to play and so much more enjoyable to play. And that's what Hellblade 2 looked like. Black Myth Wukong, I have no interest in playing it because I don't really care for Souls-like games, but that game looked really cool visually. That's the
Yes.
Chinese Souls-like, just kind of scrolling through. Space Marine 2 getting a launch date. My Warhammer chat friends
Yeah.
Hell
here.
yeah.
The First Descendant is a game that's kind of made for me. I didn't have time to play the beta. I really wanted to, but I didn't have time. Really excited for the First Descendant because I really am going to probably need a looter shooter ongoing game after Final Shape because I don't believe in Bungie anymore. Banisher's Ghost of New Eden looked really good. I feel like I'm missing something.
What about you may have mentioned it, but did you see Hello Games' new game?
Yes, yeah. Hello Games' new game looks incredible. I didn't care. Yeah, like it looks like No Man's Sky, but instead of Mass Effect, it's Skyrim. That's the way I described it with my friends, right? Like No Man's Sky is the futuristic space one. This looks like the same kind of game, but like fantasy and medieval, and I'm all here for it because I really liked No Man's Sky. I played a lot of it with Dots. I still don't think that the Suicide Squad game looks good. But like, yeah, and the old gods of Asgard were awesome live. I was convinced they were gonna play the song Dark Ocean Summoning because it's really hard to do the song that they were doing without the actor who play the actor who played Alan Wake, or who voiced Alan Wake, and the actor who voiced Hatch being there. But then they also got them, and they were singing their parts for Herald of Darkness, and I was so happy when that came on. I love Alan Wake too. I can't wait. I'm gonna wait to do the new game plus until the DLCs come out. Because I can't jump back in again just yet. But like, I did 100% the game. I have all the gamer score in it, and like, man, was I happy that Alan Wake got its got recognized like it did. I was happy that Hi-Fi Rush got recognized like it did. But yeah, like, overall, I thought the show was it was a really bad awards show. It was a really good it was probably the best E3 show in years.
Yeah.
From anyone.
Like, I was about to say, not to interrupt, but it's like this show is becoming more of like an
Winter E3.
And yeah, Winter E3
Winter
counterpart
E3.
than an award show. And to be honest, I don't know, like maybe they should just kind of like split it up. Split it up altogether.
See, the problem is no one watches the DICE Awards, no one watches the BAFTAs, no one watches the GDC Awards, right? Like, this was the answer to getting people to watch the awards. I mean, like, even the Oscars are like, the viewership is dying year after year after year. Like, so it's like, scale back. I got really annoyed with them telling people to pull it back after the like 30 seconds. But like, that's a direct response from last year where they had a problem with people going too long. Also, wasn't the biggest fan of I thought at the time Judge's joke was really funny, and then I saw how the industry was reacting to it, and I kind of felt where they were coming from as like an IT person who always gets the blame and never the praise for like whenever anything goes right. And I kind of felt for the devs who were upset by the joke, and so like I'm kind of like, the joke was definitely not an incorrect joke to make, but probably not a correct joke to make at the Game Awards.
Yeah, because we're about celebrating gaming.
Yeah,
like, we don't tear each other down.
Because like I definitely don't disagree with the joke. Like, the joke was funny and the joke should have been made. But I also think to like the Oscars, and every time like shit jokes are made at the Oscars, and I'm like, this is just annoying. So like I also like I completely understand any dev that was upset that it was made, and I'm like, yeah, that it probably shouldn't have been. It definitely was funny though. And it's not like the first time a joke like this has been made at developers' expense. Like, though it's the first time it's been more pointed at an individual release. About, I think it was like 3 years ago. Like, there was a joke about EA's greed made on stage. About it was, I believe it was specifically in relation to Battlefront 2, but it didn't name drop Battlefront 2. So like, I like, Dots can confirm I was laughing really hard when the joke was made. We were all, and like, you can check my Twitter feed. I even said he brought the jokes. Like, I thought it was really funny, but like, yeah. I completely understand people who are upset by it, and they're completely valid in being upset by it. Like, there's nothing wrong with being upset about it.
All right. Yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you on that, and definitely some pretty good points there. Pretty good summary overall. Definitely some interesting announcements. Dots, I mean, I'd love to hear from you, pal. Did anything catch your eye at the Game Awards at all? I'm assuming what a lot of what Crusader said you probably enjoyed.
Yeah, no, since we were watching it together, and when it was going on. It was a lot of it was I think it was a fun show to watch. I understand, people's gripes with what it's being turned into nowadays, but I think as like, just kind of a, you know, hey, here's a random thing to watch on a Thursday night, and for that like kind of mentality, it was a fun watch. I'm really hyped for a good number of the games that they announced. New Monster Hunter game, big hype for that. Um, they showed off what was that? Yeah, I mean Space Marine 2, we're gonna get that next year, and hopefully next year. They had the little special thing about Stormgate. That I was really happy about that. Obviously gotta plug in my RTS-ness. So that was really cool to see some more of that. Another No Man's Sky expansion. I'll never say no to that because they're free and they continue to be free. Crusader, what was that mech game that as soon as it started playing, you're like,
I don't know what
this
it's
is
called,
a dots
but
game.
yeah,
This is a dots game. This is a dots game.
Yeah, because like in our friend group that was watching it, we have friends that play games from like all different varieties, and like the mech game comes on, and I'm like, yep, well this is made straight up for dots.
It looked like a hyper, a Gundam-esque version of Armored Core 6, kind of
I'll see
fast
if I can find
paced.
the name for you.
But so that Mecha Break. It was Mecha
Break. Yep.
That was fun. When when Exodus was announced, we were making jokes about how like, oh, they're gonna become the Travelers, and it's a prequel to Destiny because they're the Travelers. So that was a little fun thing. It's definitely like some of the things I just remember, even if it's not a game I'm gonna hop into right away. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that got a lot of our friend group like hyper analyzing the trailer of all the new scenes and all that stuff. So that's huge for a lot of the people in our friend group. And I like Final Fantasy remake, and I'll play Rebirth when it hits PC, but that obviously will take a long while.
Only has legally a 3-month exclusivity period.
It's Square.
The fact that it ended with Aerith with the wings, or the feathers. Everyone was screaming in our chat.
That massive bundle of remake games, like Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, all those in that bundle, that was a big hit for a lot of people. I'm definitely on the Light No Fire, like Crusader said. I like the idea of like a fantasy No Man's Sky. I think that'll be a really interesting how that happens. But I like No Man's Sky's like premise and engine, so like I think they can do it well, and I look forward to that. Lego Fortnite hit a lot harder than we thought it was going to. Like that was crazy, and it's out now. Like it's out now, and Fortnite is. I do not play Fortnite. I personally do not play Fortnite, but I have nothing but respect for the fact that they are able to like maintain this presence in the gaming industry, because now they got the Lego Fortnite. I mean, they had at least 3 or 4 trailers throughout the entire night about Fortnite, Lego Fortnite, and then that rocket racing. So that was crazy. Free God of War Ragnarok DLC. That was really cool, giving it like a roguelike mode that you can like jump back into. So that's really cool. I think negative wise, I mean, they hyped up that whole Asgard's Wrath thing with Matt Mercer. I wasn't feeling that. Like I think they pushed that one way too long, because that was for the Meta VR. So Meta put a lot of money to make a really long trailer. I had no cares about it. The Skull and Bones trailer after like the shit show that's Skull and Bones, that was that was just funny to watch because of how like upsetting it is. I'm glad they have a beta coming soon because we can actually get people hands on and telling us, you know, if it's actually going to be bad, like it looks bad and has sounded bad for as long as it's been in development. So I'm curious about that. The Helldivers 2 trailer was so good. I really like the Helldivers 2
Helldivers 2 looks really good.
And then there were some other small things that were kind of thrown around. But no, like this was I enjoyed the show in the idea of it being a show and not like, oh, you know, here's awards. I will say though, Armored Core 6 stay winning with 1 nomination and 1 award, while Spider-Man got 7 nominations and 0 awards. Armored Core 6 sweep. Armored Core 6 got a sweep.
I did notice that, yes.
The 1 award sweep.
Oh, and the other highlight was when Alan Wake got their first award, and it was like the award goes to Alan Wake.
Yeah,
and me and Crusader were hyping it up because that's a lyric from the song.
That's straight up. And they, if you listen to the song they played live, that like they play it in the thing, and people who we were watching with were like, "Oh, that's why you guys said it like that."
The award goes to Alan Wake. Oh yeah, and I will agree with Crusader, and even not just because it's Crusader, but like that concert, like with Old Gods of Asgard, Poets of the Fall, that was definitely a highlight. Like that was one of the most enjoyable things I've seen from one of the Game Awards, and not bashing any other music, because like the Final Fantasy Orchestra was great.
That was great.
Flute Guy made his return with a vengeance. Every single music it went through, his flute got bigger. No, for the aspects of a show and seeing some games I'm looking forward to, that was I enjoyed. It was an enjoyable Thursday night. So that's what I got for that.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, I sat through a good portion of it, and you know, I mean, I passed by, like, when there was music on, I just kind of switched to something else, to be honest. But, yeah, I caught a good portion of it, and a lot of the announcements were interesting. GeneralMLD, I'll hit you up next. Again, same question. Like, what caught your eye overall?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot to say here. I'll start off with the actual awards themselves. Yeah, you're going into it thinking that there's going to be some Xbox announcements, but I mean, maybe a little bit late on awards, but hey, here we are. They won 3 awards, Hi-Fi Rush Audio Design, Forza on Accessibility, and Best Racer. And yeah, Xbox did pretty respectable. I gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised. And, you know, going into it, like, you can't help but notice, read the room, right? The other guys are bragging about Spider-Man and 7 nominations. And in the end, Xbox wins 3 and they win a giant 0 overall. So it's funny how reality pans out in the end to Xbox. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. But the announcements, let's see. Warhammer Rogue Trader, like it's like a XCOM meets Warhammer. That's up my alley. Space Marine 2 in September. Great to see a firm release date. Jurassic Park Survival. As someone who played Alien Isolation, this game looks like it's going to be up my alley. And there's so much nostalgia, so much callbacks to the original movie. Like the raptor that's still in the cold cellar and the door opens. So you're going to be hunted by a raptor. Like that thought alone makes me very excited to play this game. So I'm looking forward to that. Sega is on this hot streak now. They're tapping into their old back catalog. They're no longer people see them these days as Sonic, Yakuza, and Atlas, and like Persona games. But I'm glad they're finally digging into the games like Jet Set Radio and Golden Axe and the like. I cannot wait to see what Sega has in store, and I still hope that low-key Xbox has plans with Sega in the future. But I'll settle for the marketing rights for now. Like Persona 3, Game Pass day 1, perfect. I beat Persona 5 last year. That was my first Persona game. And 2024, I plan to beat Persona 3. and then Persona 4. So I'll be all caught up. And even that new game, Metaphor, nice to see Xbox branding attached to that too. OD with Kojima. I'm not gonna lie here. I've never been a big fan of Kojima's work, but I recognize he's pretty popular, and I'll give it a try. It's coming to Game Pass, so we'll see what it's like. Hellblade 2, that made the whole thing for me, like right then and there. It looks like it's taking everything up a notch. I love the narrative direction of always have, like the whole voices in your head, just how the enemies look more menacing than they actually maybe would because of her own psychosis. How she's just some girl in a very primitive time period and she just kicks ass. And the graphics looked amazing. The music was amazing. I really, really have high hopes for this game. And I'm confident Ninja Theory is going to deliver. It's been too long, but they had time to cook, and it's going to pay off. Blade, well, we talked about Blade. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad Xbox is getting into the into licensed games now, and it's a great IP to do. And Arcane, the guys who made Deathloop and Dishonored, they're a great team, so I have all the faith in them. We talked about why there's no Xbox branding and all that stuff. I'm just gonna say I'm not worried, because if Indiana Jones was announced as a multiplat, but Xbox made it exclusive after the fact, I think this is gonna be the same thing here. Why is Xbox being so cagey and cautious? Who knows? I'm not even gonna bother speculating. Maybe it is because it's a next-gen release. Maybe you don't want to announce anything like 5 years out. Who knows? But they don't have to show a Game Pass logo to tell me it's going to be on Game Pass. We just know. So I said on Twitter, it's going to work itself out in the end. So there's that. Other than that, those are the games that caught my eye. I overall, I like the how the show was structured. Yeah, I get it. The people accepting awards could have been given a little longer to talk. But other than that, as a showcase, as a viewer, as a gamer watching, the show was really, really good. Like packed with gaming trailers left and right. It was a really good time. Like it was like 3+ hours, but no, I think it was their best showing yet. And it seems like every year, Jeff Keighley is he's tweaking the formula to make it better. Like last year, he had a problem with people crashing the stage and long acceptance speeches. This year, well, he fixed that. Acceptance speeches were really short. So now he's got to pivot again and make it a little more of a balance. But at least no one crashed the stage this time. So I feel like he's getting there. And at the very least, it was more viewable for us to watch. Sorry, it was more entertaining for us to watch. There was less product placement too. It was gaming trailers first and foremost. And that was nice to see. They could focus on more trailers with actual gameplay, though. That's another small nitpick of mine. But other than that, yeah, it was a packed showcase, and yeah, there's a lot. Xbox, they really showed up, and I'm glad they did, especially compared to last year.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. Again, we had talked about our expectations a bit beforehand, and again, keeping the expectations low going into it, I thought was a pretty good idea. And yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. Definitely liked what I saw from Xbox there for sure. Let's see, Grimes, I would love to know your thoughts. Again, what did you think about the show overall?
We've touched on a lot of stuff already, but yeah, it was great to see Xbox have such a massive presence at the Game Awards, and I'm so happy for Hi-Fi Rush for winning an award for audio design. Would have liked to see them win Best Art Direction, but it stood no chance, of course. What else? Same goes for Larian. I'm so happy for them for winning Game of the Year. They deserved it. Congrats to them. And we're gonna talk about Hellblade now. People have been aching to see the fighting mechanics, and we finally got it. And to me, to be honest, it looks fine. I didn't really have any massive issues with the fighting from the first game. And people forget that Ninja Theory worked on a Devil May Cry game before, so they must definitely know how to work on fighting mechanics. A nice surprise, like a lot of the guys mentioned already, was the Sega announcement. I'm here for the Jet Set Radio remake as well as the Crazy Taxi. I love those games, and I can't wait to see what they make them look like. A modern take on those games. Some other games that looked interesting to me were yeah, the Jurassic Park survival game looks cool. But I would much rather have a new Turok game. That's a game that I prefer much more. The Outcast, no, I mean Outcast, Outlast game. There's a new one that just got announced as well at the Game Awards. But no thanks. I'm too scared to play those games.
They're good. They're scary. Like the first one especially is
Yeah.
scary as shit.
Yeah, I tried the first one, but I was like, first 5 minutes, I was like, nope, no for me. But I'm happy
Yeah.
for anyone that plays those kind of games. I'm happy for you because very cool. It's just not for me. Obviously, Rogue Trader looks amazing, but I'll let you, the experts, talk about it. David Diver looks interesting. It's definitely a game that I'm gonna play. So does Rise of Ronin, but it's a PlayStation exclusive. I'm sure it's gonna come to
PlayStation's
Steam.
publishing it. Oh yeah. It'll be on PC. PlayStation's publishing
Yeah.
it though.
But it looks a really cool game. And here's where I have to disagree with Crusader about Exodus. Exodus, I mean, I love Mass Effect. I've played all 4 games, but Exodus to me looks mid. It's basically like an Interstellar of a game, and it's a movie that I find extremely overrated. But you know, Crusader is excited for it, and I'm sure other people are too. So happy for all of you guys.
I'm just excited. Really, it might even be copium for the fact that we're inundated with fantasy games, and I desperately want more sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm at the point where like, I'll take what I can get that's a new IP that's not like Star Wars or like 40K.
Yeah, it just from the trailer they showcased, it just looks like Interstellar. Like
Sure.
the every other character ages while you don't. Also, you guys, a few of you guys mentioned it, but I have no idea how Santa Monica convinced Sony to release a free DLC for God of War. But good on them for doing it. The game definitely a rogue God of War looks interesting, but I still can't get around to finishing the first game. Another game that looks really cool is Berserker Kazan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
it,
forgot
it
about
look
that.
yeah it looks. I could be completely wrong, but it looks like a mixture between Devil May Cry meets Dark Souls. But again, I could be completely wrong. But I love the trailer they showcase and the mechanics and all of that. We already talked about Blade, but I'm not worried at all. Also, there were some people that were not happy that Arcane Leon is got the rights to develop that game because of her stylized characters, but honestly, it's completely fine. Besides Blade, it's a comics book character, so not everything has to look ultra realistic. Let the teams cook, and Arcane knows how to make good stories as well. And yeah, we already talked about the Xbox logo, whatever. I think it's because Microsoft doesn't know on what console it's gonna release yet, and I have to agree with Centurion that they're still worried about the regulators, so that's why they're keeping it slightly low down on the
I
low
wish we
down.
could say regulators, but this is just the FTC. Apparently, they've lost
no.
their damn mind.
But don't forget about the CMA. I mean, they're going after Microsoft right now again. So those are the two that they're most scared of.
But is it the
But
CMA just going after them for Azure at this point?
Yeah, and it's
no,
probably they probably deserve it from
no.
in
Right
the
now
IT
it's
field.
for Office.
Yeah, like what they're I know that no, isn't the EU going after them for Office? Like Office and Teams?
See, I was gonna say I know there's one for
Oh,
Office and Teams, and I think there's all
Yeah.
like the CMA is
maybe no. You're
Azure
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
because of just how big the cloud. Over here in America, we have Google, Amazon, and Azure. Over there in the UK, I don't think they have as big a offering on cloud networking. Where Azure, I think, makes up like 80%
Yeah.
of their cloud infrastructure.
That
Mhm.
sounds right. And like to be fair, Microsoft's Azure pushes have been like kind of insane.
Yeah.
So like
True.
not even shocked that they're going after them for that. Like
Yeah.
I'm surprised that there isn't more of that.
Yeah, but yeah, so they're trying to keep, in my opinion, they're trying to keep it on the low for the time being. Yeah, we already talked about OD. Looks weird, but as Crusader, as you alluded to, it's great seeing someone like Jordan Peele attached to the project. We already talked about Mana. It's great for the uh, JP for the
JRPG.
yeah, yeah. Oh my god, yeah, JRPG fans. They've been begging for a Mana game to come to Xbox for so long, and because of a new leadership at Square, they're finally starting to release more games on Xbox. Looks fun, and I'll play it for sure. Uh, we talked about a little bit about Suicide Squad. To be honest, I'm kind of worried about Rocksteady. They did mention they're working on a offline mode, which is really good to hear. But knowing how trigger happy Discovery Warner are, if the game doesn't do well financially, though, they could definitely shut down that studio. Um, and then there were a few other indie games that really caught my eye. The game by the Raised by Wolves actor, Abubakar Salim. I probably butchered that name completely, but it's an EA Originals game.
Oh yeah, so good.
It's called Tales of Kenzera Zhao, and it him describing what inspired him to make the game. It's so cool, and the art style is also really cool. I'm definitely gonna check it out. Here, I'm gonna try to keep it very short, but here's where I take a massive turn. I watched all 3.5 hours of a show, and as an award show, I was appalled of how bad it was. An embarrassment, really. It's now more about the celebrities, glitz and glamour, than for the actual developers. I mean, it's a joke. There are developers remortgaging their house to work on games, developers suffering health problems for crunch. Some developers are even fighting wars. Some developers have died fighting those wars. And then we're gonna rush them off stage because you have to please uh, some advertisers, or you have to squeeze some celebrities to jump on stage. Nah, I'm not cool with that. celebrities were actually given more time than the winners on stage. I think someone even timed the winners got 12 minutes total on a 3-hour show, and I'm absolutely disgusted by it. We already touched on this, but Kojima was given just under 10 minutes for to talk about his teaser. Of course, Mr. Keeley is gonna give him that much time because it's his buddy, but it's an embarrassment, really. I just think with Keeley, it's about him boasting how much clout he's got with the elite, with all these celebrities. It's all about him. I would much rather have someone else host that show. I mean, he probably got more time than the developers on air. And the whole format is terrible as well. They gave a bunch of awards pre-show, like the Forza Award for accessibility, and Super Mario also got an award pre-show. Then there were the times where some awards were given, five awards were given in a row, boom, 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 without the developers actually going on stage, and then just move to the next topic. Oh, but hey, the reward for a reward for Hollywood, sure, let's give it on stage. I'm sure, yeah. The Last of Us was a great show, but I don't think it had to be given on stage. And then even a digital content creator got more airtime than actual developers. I think it's Iron Mouse, which is not even a real human. It's an AI.
Oh, right, yeah.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
human. They just use an avatar instead of
But so that is
instead
so
of their personal appearance.
but it's not. So it's not a real person. I mean, AI.
Well, it's a real person that's basically doing motion capture, and it's literally it's like the equivalent of doing voice acting work. They're representing themselves with a digital avatar. That's it. It is an actual person talking behind the avatar.
Get it, but it's still not the same thing as, because you can replace a voice actor could be replaced. Like, let's say that voice actor or like whoever, someone buys a corporation buys Iron Mouse, so, and they can retire the voice actor and replace it with someone else. It's not
Sure.
so it's not the same thing as an actual content creator.
Well, I mean, content creators, like, their shows can be bought and
Yeah, but
sold. Like, Yahtzee can't do whatchamacallit anymore. What was Yahtzee's show on the fuck? He reviewed games. What was his show called on shit?
yeah, I don't know, but
they all just like that entire team just mass quit.
And with the segment with the Muppet, don't even get me started with that. It was completely pointless, and I don't get his obsession with it. It doesn't even have anything to do with video games.
I think Jeff Keighley's a furry.
Yeah.
No, so here's the whole story behind that was they did it one year as like like they were sponsored by the Muppets the one year, and then literally every year after that, people kept asking him, "Where are the Muppets? Why haven't the Muppets come back? Where are the Muppets?" And so 2 years ago, he brought them back.
Yeah, I just
and they keep doing it because people kept asking him, "Where are the Muppets? Why haven't the Muppets been here?"
Running gag.
It was a running gag, yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of old now. it's time to move on from to other things.
Well, they didn't do it this year. Like last year, they had Animal present the music award. Makes sense.
Yeah, it
Animals in
seemed
the Muppets
forced.
band.
Also,
yeah.
another thing I don't really like is the camera focusing on the nominees. This ain't the Oscars. Stop copying it, and it seemed corny as hell. And then last thing I want to touch on is the actual joke. I mean, you guys talked about it. Yeah, it seemed innocent, and I really didn't have a massive issue with it. But all those devs had to crunch to get the game done on time. What does he even know about game development? And then I saw a bunch of Activision developers who complained about the joke. They didn't find it funny. And then immediately after that, they started getting death threats and harassment on Twitter, which is completely uncalled for. I even some of the developers had to retract their criticism on Christopher Judge because they were getting so much abuse by fans. But I also feel like that joke was allowed. First of all, whoever allowed it should be fired. But I feel like it was allowed because Microsoft now owns Activision. If Activision was still its own thing, they've poured so much money into the Game Awards before. I don't think that joke would have been allowed before.
So you're saying it's the Xbox tax?
I don't think it was approved or disapproved.
Yeah.
I think you just said it.
Yeah, I think it was just.
Yeah.
I think Christopher Judge spoke off the cuff.
Me too.
I think he just made a joke. In fact, I don't think any of I don't think most of that, except for the ones that are clearly sponsored, which like the Fallout show presenting the whatchamacallit award, that was clearly scripted.
But don't they train like weeks? Like don't they weeks ahead? They train.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a script.
Well, they don't
right?
get they don't get the presenters to show up and
No.
yeah, they have a teleprompter on some stuff, but that's where for the most part the people presenting are not there, because if they're presenting, they'll know who the winners are. So for starters, there's like stuff that they can't even reveal. But I would say there's probably some practice for the stage acts, but I don't think the practice physically takes place at the studio or the Peacock Stadium or whatever it was, the Peacock
No, it
Theater.
does. It does.
Well, I know, but I'm saying in certain instances, like from the bands, they're like, I'm pretty sure the bands themselves like would also be practicing like at other locations before they get there, and they probably they would probably have one mock up of the night's events like the day before or the day before that, like very close to it.
But yeah, I agree. It was innocent, but all the you have to understand how much how hard is it on those developers working 10 to 12-hour days sometimes to finish a game that releases every single year. So show some respect.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things where you can practice it, you can script it, but when you have the power of a microphone and live television or live streaming service, like you have the power to say whatever you want, and you don't usually think about the consequences until afterwards.
Well,
so
things come out, you know.
exactly.
also, but here, let's look like devil's advocate. How the hell do we know that Christopher Judge doesn't go home every night and grind out 4 or 5 hours
We
of
don't.
Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and by some chance he actually felt a little bit personal about Modern Warfare 3 having a very short
Yeah.
campaign? You never know. He could be a fan, but he just doesn't like actively show it on social media.
Right,
And
Indeed.
but
it's a
then
big-
after saying it, I doubt that when he said it, I doubt he was thinking about all the developers and whatnot who put time and effort in the
Yeah.
game.
Right.
And only for after he said it and after he goes home and now the internet's in slew of talking about it, he's like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that."
Well,
he probably is thinking I probably
Right.
shouldn't have said that.
well, everybody had something to say when Black Ops 3 came out with no campaign, and that's when
Sure.
Activision was like, "Okay, now we got to do now." Like, I'm sorry, but yeah, it was probably a joke in bad taste, but also at the same time, it's not towards the developers. But that's where like those in charge of Activision, regardless of who owns them now, whether it's Bobby Kotick or Microsoft, they needed to hear that putting out a campaign like that was not a good idea. So at least Microsoft knows going forward, like, yeah, no like 4 or 5 hour campaigns.
Yeah. A game probably would have been better launching at like $50 without a campaign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Shockley, buddy, I would love to hear your thoughts. I know that you had made some points a little while ago, but anything else from the show that you'd like to comment on?
Yeah, I thought I was definitely excited for the Sega releases. Although I'm a big Shinobi fan, I used to play Shinobi 3 on the Genesis like daily when I was a kid. So that was cool to see it go back to its 2D roots, or just to get a new Shinobi game in general.
Mhm.
Because I saw most of the other ones like Golden Axe and some of the others that were like Streets of Rage that were more of a 2D style, or kind of getting like a 3D-ish type of game or treatment. So I'm hopeful maybe after they do this 2D of Shinobi, we'll get one like the PS2 style. Because that game is really sick and was all stylized, and it's different from if you played like Neo or even like Ninja Gaiden at the time. It just had its own like cool aesthetic and really cool like mechanics and stuff that were just different. So I'm hopeful maybe we'll get one of those. That's probably a long shot. They're probably just gonna my luck, they're just gonna go with the 2D and just like stick with that probably. But that was still cool to see. Hopefully they get Offspring back for the Crazy Taxi. That'd be sick. But
Did
but
you
yeah,
see that they're not that these are supposed to, most of them are supposed to be brand new games, like entirely, like they're not.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not it's not like remasters or
Oh
remakes.
yeah, no, I saw that. And then I saw that. Although the screenshots, the brief sizzle reel of the Shinobi, kind of had a lot of or at least I'm sure they're gonna have similar things and levels to like Shinobi 3 callbacks. But yeah, that's still dope that they're even doing that, or especially spending this much time on like, oh, we have all of these different ones coming out individually. So it's still cool to finally see them address their IP that they haven't touched forever. But yeah, hopefully we'll get one of those games. It's just crazy. I guess I think it was just because Shinobi didn't do all that well, even though like looking back, it's a solid game. So it was crazy we never got a follow up to that. But outside of that, the Kojima one, that's seeming. Obviously we don't know what it is, just like how Death Stranding was first announced. So we don't have any clue, but it's cool that they're pulling on Jordan Peele, to team up there, and hopefully they can make something crazy. Obviously, I'm hoping that it's maybe like what he envisioned for PT, all those years ago, because obviously that didn't have anything. They don't know what was in his mind of what if they let him go on with that project, what he was going to do. So, heck, then even Konami, I don't even think knew he was releasing that demo, because I think at the time he was very high up and could pull those strings, and was really buddy with I think it was Andrew House at the time. So I think that's why they kind of shunned him out and didn't even let him take the award. There's a big whole conspiracy on that of why they treated him the way they did after everything went down, which is probably why, because he did something he wasn't supposed to, and that's why it was pulled immediately. But obviously, outside of that OD game, which just gets me more hype for it, because we had no idea when he first came on the screen 2 years ago or 2 E3s ago, and was just talking about his cloud game. We're like, what the hell is this supposed to be? But to at least we know looks like a horror game and has some cool creatives behind it. And I'm sure, and that didn't have a Game Pass logo, but I'm sure it's going to hit Game Pass day one, which would make sense and maximize, and especially when they say for all players and whatever it said, players and screamers. So hopefully, if they want to maximize the amount of people touching this game, I'm sure it is going to be on Game Pass day one. But I was trying to think. Oh yeah, obviously the Blade announcement was sick, and a lot of people have been asking for that. Hey, could we get this? This Marvel IP, and I think a lot of people, or a lot of Xbox gamers have been calling for, since they have Wolverine and Spider-Man already. I think a lot of fans were calling for Blade. I can't think of any other. I think there was maybe a few others that I've heard, but I've heard a lot of people mention Blade. So that's really cool. Kind of came out of left field, other than the people that kind of knew about it ahead of time. But that definitely surprised a lot and got I think a lot of the fan base really hyped. So I don't think it'll take them too long. I think when they first signed the deal for Spider-Man, it was, I think, like 3 years, or maybe it was 4 years before it was finally released in 2018, when Insomniac was linking up with Sony for that deal. But so hopefully it won't take them more than 3 years from now. But yeah, we'll see. And obviously Hellblade looks sick. We finally saw actually more combat other than just throwing a spear at a giant. So it looks like there's a lot. Obviously, it's a similar looking combat, but hopefully there's just more move sets in there. Looked like it was a little bit more fluid. So hopefully that hits. Sucks they don't still have like a release window or season. That would have been cool if they at least like nailed down like summer or something like that. I'm thinking one of those games is going to at least be in 2024, like early half, since we have Avowed and Hellblade coming. Hopefully, possibly Clockwork Revolution, but hopefully Hellblade hits earlier, or vice versa, as long as we get one of them, and not just like both at the end of the year. That would be good. Awesome. Trying to think of any other. I didn't catch a lot of. I kind of went back and like looked at some of the things that intrigued me, like that. It's all like, oh, because I think I was doing something at the time, so I went back and watched and found those parts. Otherwise, I think those were pretty much my highlights. Yeah, Sega Blade OD game, the Hellblade game that looks sick. And I didn't catch the Mana game. Is that in the same vein as the other, like Trials of Mana? And
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Are they?
It's the same franchise. I think it's the same world.
Is it like is it a spin-off, or is it just more of like a sequel?
I think it's the next of the. See, I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
exactly how those games work. So like, I don't know if they're like Final Fantasy or Persona, where they're not really sequels.
Okay, I got you.
Like so, I don't know enough about it but I know it's supposed to be like the next one.
Okay. Now, did they mention any of the others coming? Like
No,
Trials?
they did not.
Okay. Of course they wouldn't, because that would make too much sense.
Why would they also why would they have that at the Game Awards? Like if they're
Yeah,
going
I
to
can
announce
see
that, they
why
announce
that-
that it's something else.
I could totally see that, but then them like afterward, like in a
Yeah.
press release, hey, we're also, or even on their Twitter page or something. That's what I hate with Square doing this, where it's like, cool, we're throwing you a bone, so you better buy it. But it's like, hey, we're not going to give you the rest of those games, so you're probably not going to buy it on that platform anyway. So
Yeah.
That's what they always do this with, like, like they did Kingdom Hearts, or like, yeah, totally. We kept releasing these remasters where you can play through the entire series before get you ready for Kingdom Hearts 3, on PlayStation. And what did they do? They released all that collection after Kingdom Hearts 3 was released on the Xbox. Makes no sense. They have no logic, and so that sucks. But at least we're getting those games, and hopefully it's indicative of us. Hopefully, Dragon Quest, not the next one, not completely skipping, since they never really announced the platform. So after what we saw happen last year, it was kind of like, hey, maybe we won't get Square games again, or might have to wait a few years for, like, after the fact for the Dragon Quest. So that's where you kind of hope you're making strides, which it sounds like they are with Square. Even though at first it kind of seemed like for a bit there that we weren't gonna get it. You're lucky to get anything going forward. So hopefully that's kind of turned around. So I guess that's a good sign. But
I think the best thing everyone could do is just be irritating on social media and just keep being like, hey, bring these games over. Hey, bring these games over. Because that actually seems to work a lot.
Or,
on a lot of companies.
I don't know. Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, I wouldn't see why, since they made the whole deal with Dragon Quest, the last one, I think 11, why.
Anyone still here?
Oh, Shockley, you cut out a bit. Shockley, yes, no?
I wonder if his device died.
Possibly. Yeah, okay, Shockley, just so you know, can't hear you. I'm going to move on to Centurion now. Cent, please round us out here. I know you had made some points during, earlier. But yeah, well, what were some, like, highlights and, like, again, just other commentary? What did you think about the show?
I mean, it is what it is. We made jokes that we only watched the show for the commercials, and obviously Jeff Keighley heard us loud and clear, and he made sure that I forget who said it here earlier, but it's like literally a winter E3 at this point. And that's where in the beginning of the pre-show, I did say that I think it's like, it was like insult to injury. Like last year's Game Awards, he had to talk about the issues that were going on at Activision, and that maybe, and that it wasn't acceptable. I remember they put Jeff Keighley in a position where he had to, like, make comments or something like that about what was going on at Activision that they didn't agree with. Maybe it was last year or the year before, but I remember, like, Jeff Keighley's been in this position before, and now when we're having massive layoffs in the industry, and there's a lot of uncertainty for developers right now, especially, like, Grimes touched on, things that are going on over at Discovery Warner Brothers. And, even Discovery Warner Brothers has come out and said that they are perfectly fine with Suicide Squad being games as a service, and that people just need to get used to the games that come out of WB that have a little bit of a service-esque quality to them, because I guess they're really wanting to push that. They're really wanting to chase that dollar, chase that little golden nugget. Hopefully that doesn't backfire on them too bad. But also, like, the stuff that's going on with Embracer. So with all the stuff with the layoffs and everything, it was interesting that Jeff Keighley obviously didn't touch on it, but I felt like it was insult to injury on the fact that he pretty much did not give developers a lot of time on stage. There was a very large, heavy focus on people that were oriented with, like, celebrity status, Hollywood screen, on the actual silver screen. But that's also where I jokingly laugh at, everybody coming to Christopher Judge's aid, and they're just like, "Oh my God, Christopher Judge, he's Kratos, he's Kratos." And I'm sorry to all you guys that have just discovered Christopher Judge. Christopher Judge has played Kratos for 5 minutes in my world, compared to the fact that I started watching Christopher Judge live on Fox Television when I was probably 7, 8 years old, watching Stargate SG-1. Go look that one up and figure it the F out that Christopher Judge has a long history and pedigree in the sci-fi television world, and he has been playing Kratos for a very short amount of time. Kratos reinvigorated his career, but it kind of like makes my skin crawl when people are like, Christopher Judge, who's best known for playing Kratos, and I'm like, now maybe, but if you know anything about sci-fi television, Christopher Judge played Teal'c in Stargate way before that.
Indeed.
I know,
with
right?
Sean Astin being the guy from Stranger Things. So, like, boy, do I sympathize with that.
Oh,
Sean Astin being Samwise Gamgee in Lord of the Rings, for anyone who doesn't know. He was also the guy from Stranger Things.
Yeah, right.
Like,
and also the other one who starred next to him, I think it was Pippin, played one of the it was one of the two that played in oh my God, Quantum Break, as the main character's brother.
Marion.
The guy, yeah. So yeah, trust me, it
People
like,
still can't connect the fact that Mark Hamill's both Luke Skywalker and the Joker to this day.
And Firelord Ozai.
Right, and the thing is, what people don't realize, dude, go watch Stargate SG-1 and watch Teal'c's character, and when they introduce his son into the television show, and you literally hear him go, "Boy," you literally see, like, he has been crafting the Kratos characters for a long time, and like, I'm just glad that Christopher Judge got his dues, but that's where I have to laugh. Like Jason Momoa, Ronan Dex, Stargate Atlantis. The guy Aquaman, yeah, like basically the dude that people lose their minds over, Jason Momoa, also got his start in a Stargate television show. And it blows people's minds when you actually show them that. Like, my wife completely tripped out when I showed her that Jason Momoa was in Stargate. But anyways, that's where I just really do feel that developers deserve their dues. Especially when the guy from Larian giving his acceptance speech for Game of the Year, for starters, a game that has fundamentally changed how we look at stuff. Well, I mean, we've all had our things to say about it. I'm just going to say that what Larian did with Baldur's Gate 3, and this is not me trying to cap or anything, but we all when you look at the leaks, Xbox was going to offer them $5 million to put that game into Game Pass, and they literally thought it was like a mid-tier game. Like, they didn't really think it was going to blow up like it did. And that just totally, it's great to see the underdog get his moment, but when Gonzo gets his fake little thing out and his little fake chicken, and he's doing fake chicken theory live on screen with Jeff Keighley, and Gonzo gets more screen time than the guy that's basically thanking everybody for believing in Baldur's Gate 3, and he's trying to take a moment to actually give thanks to a colleague of his who is no longer with us because they passed away. And yeah, they let him finish, but while he's finishing, the music's playing in the background. And I'm sorry, the music wasn't there because they were just trying to make the moment and help add to the somberness of what he's trying to do. They were literally putting on the screen, "Please wrap it up." And that's where it's just like, you're going to give a Muppet character more time than the guy who won Game of the Year and is also trying to have a heartfelt moment. And I also read an article that he wanted to announce on stage that Baldur's Gate 3 was available for purchase on Xbox right as of that night, and he wasn't able to do that.
No, he forgot. He straight up said he forgot on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that I had one job the entire night, and it was, if we won Game of the Year, was to announce that the game was live on Xbox, and I forgot. And Phil was laughing with him on Twitter.
So
Oopsie.
Yeah.
I will say I forget. I was watching one guy on YouTube. I won't like point fingers at him, but he was the one that made the comment that Larian didn't get a chance to say it. So hey, cool. But at the same time, you could say was it because he forgot because he caught up
Or
in
was
the
he
moment,
rushed? Yeah.
or was he rushed and
Right.
like, oh shit, I got to get off stage. So
Yeah, maybe.
you know what I mean? You really don't know. And anyways, that's where getting away from it. I just really hope, because Jeff Keighley did comment on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, that he recognizes that there was some criticism about how things unfolded and that he's going to take it into consideration for next year's show, which is going to be the 10th anniversary of the Video Game Awards. And hopefully, I'm just going to say, hopefully this isn't going to, I just hope this isn't something that's going to be as, because like here we are getting 10 years into it and this is where we're at, and I just really hope that this isn't what he's going to do for another 10 years. I really hope that we find a good healthy balance of giving developers their dues along with also seeing some new stuff. But that being said, let's talk about we all mentioned the games. Jurassic Park, definitely up on my radar. The Sega games, like, I'm going to be honest on that one. Only one of them really tickled my funny bone on that one, and that was Crazy Taxi. And that's because growing up, I grew up in an area where the only thing to do was to go to this casino, and right next to the arcade cabinet of Cruising the USA was the actual sit-in arcade cabinet for Crazy Taxi. So I spent so many hours in this casino playing Crazy Taxi. And then it was one of the games I got when I had my Sega Dreamcast, and I played the crap out of that game, jamming out to Offspring. I just recently went to one of Offspring's concerts, and I really do see the Offspring really wanting to at least be willing to do another soundtrack for the basically the revamp of Crazy Taxi, which I thought was really cool. And then let's see. I mean, everybody here has mentioned a lot of games. And that's where I don't want to go on like the route of regurgitation, like I still need to play Hellblade 2. Obviously I still need to play the original Hellblade. Hellblade 2 looks pretty amazing. I'm looking forward to what that game is going to do. As we were talking earlier, Ninja Theory has really kind of hit it out of the park when it comes to advancing the technology for studios to have easier access to motion capture animation that's pretty damn lifelike, and it doesn't require thousands and millions of dollars of equipment. It can all be done with an iPhone and a laptop. And obviously Blade, we've went back and forth on that. For me, I don't care whether it's an exclusive. I don't care about the Xbox logo. It is what it is. I'm just happy that obviously Arcane Leon, not Arcane Austin, who did Redfall, but Arcane Leon, basically the actual parent company of Arcane Austin, that's more well known for obviously Prey and Dishonored, the series that we really love. And that's where I really do feel they're going to be able to use like some of the elements from Dishonored in the past, where you hang out up top and you're able to do stealth kills and stuff like that. And then also the world exploration of like just the ideas of being able to tackle an obstacle through multiple different directions, like we saw in Prey. But for me, I'm happy to see Blade get his dues. When the original Blade movie came out in theaters with Wesley Snipes and the gentleman that played Deacon Frost, and we saw Blade, you didn't even know that Blade was a Marvel character. Marvel themselves would not even admit Blade was a Marvel character until way after. And now, to be honest, the only time we've ever seen Blade appear in gaming was just recently with Marvel Midnight Suns, which I actually felt was a really great story. They really portrayed Blade quite well. They gave him a lot of character. And I remember playing Midnight Suns saying, I really do wish Blade would get a little bit more screen time. I really wish he'd get a game. And lo and behold, we're going to get a game. And the cool part is there's also a television show that Disney is working on. I don't know if it's a show or a movie. I think it is a series, where they actually have the individual who was like the main bad guy from
Luke Cage.
oh Yeah, from Luke Cage, the main the club owner from Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Herschel
The club.
Ali.
Yeah, he's the one that's playing Blade. And I think I've actually seen like a leaked teaser of him as Blade, and he looked really, really good as Blade. I feel like he fits the role quite well. I've even heard rumors that he's been in contact with Wesley Snipes, and he's got a lot of pointers from Wesley Snipes how to really capture the essence of the character that Wesley helped really form. So definitely this is going to be a resurgence of the Blade character that's very needed. And I really do feel that Xbox definitely signed the right contract at the right time, whether it was like something that was already planned for Bethesda or something that just happened last week. However it occurred, I feel like, Xbox is definitely hopping on the train of reestablishing a character that has actually been a little bit left in the dust. But now that's where, again, I don't want to like try to go off of everything else that everybody talked about, but what can we say about the Game Awards? It's every single year. I've always jokingly said that Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards themselves always feed off of controversy. And yet again, we have yet another Game Awards that has created a lot of talk on the internet, whether it's good or bad or somewhere in between. Hey, it's another Game Awards in the bag. There's a lot of stuff for us to look forward to. And I mean, where can we go from here?
Well said, Centurion. Guys, any more comments on the Game Awards? Yes, no?
Loot guy is iconic. That's my last thing.
Who?
So, when they do the orchestra for the Game of the Year nominees, and they play all of the music, like a bit of the music from each of them as a giant orchestra, there's one guy who is playing the flute who is always like going nuts playing his flute. And he's been referred to as Flute Guy, and he was brought back again this year, and he had a giant like bass flute that was bigger than him that he was playing at one point. That guy is iconic, and I love him, and I am happy to see that he was back.
So now here's something that actually like kind of like I didn't think about until right now. Did y'all catch how Jeff Keighley had the stage roped off? I mean,
yeah, they took that seriously. They took that stuff seriously. Up with like flashing lights, like, dude, you could totally see security at the entrances to the ropes. Like, would have their like, yo, who's this with you? Is he cool? Like, you could just tell like Jeff Keighley was just like, they crashed my show they crashed my Game Awards last winter. They crashed Jeff Keighley's Summer of Games this summer. Hell, if it's happening a third time in a row. And Sven wearing the full suit of armor the whole time, that he's the head of Larian. Cool. Yeah, he was there in the full suit of armor the whole time. And then another one from Larian had this like custom made suit, and another one had a custom made dress, and then their head of publishing was wearing sweatpants.
Dude, I can only imagine what it would be like to sit in one of those theater chairs in a full suit of armor. How hot it probably got. Oh my
god, that had to have been misery.
You'd feel, and the fact that you'd have to sit there for the whole show, all 3 hours, your back would probably be killing you because it's not like the metal moves and forms with you.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about the Fallout TV show, but it looks cool.
Oh yeah, it does look really good.
It looks good, and you know what? That's where I'm just really happy that dude, gaming is becoming bigger than movies and television combined, and now here we are seeing gaming starting to make it to those platforms. Like, remember when playing video games was like this like thing that everybody thought was passé, that you did down in your mother's basement, and they thought you were a completely immature individual for doing it? And now here we are with stuff like Halo, Last of Us, Resident Evil, and now Fallout. Dude, like, games have really broke through that glass ceiling of showing that there is substance to gaming, and that there is a lot of well-crafted universes that you can tap into, because as we've seen, dude, with the movie industry, they're starting to regurgitate a lot of things, and things are starting to look very similar. And now here we are, we're starting to get like things invigorating back into the entertainment industry, and they're borrowing from video games to do that.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, I'm just looking at the time. I think we'll wrap things up.
Oh, damn, I didn't realize it was that late.
Yeah.
Holy cow, we've been here a minute.
But no, honestly, I would love to continue talking. Just, I just realized the time, so I think we'll start wrapping things up. And honestly, just a very passionate discussion between all the lads regarding the Game Awards and Grand Theft Auto 6. I certainly had a real fun time with this one. I mean, I usually do, but again, really, really good talk. Really exciting. As I hope all of you tuning in tonight, I hope you all had a good time as well listening in. Thank you everyone for coming by. If you enjoyed it, then please consider leaving a like and sharing out this episode. It would be greatly appreciated on our behalf. Now just over to the outros, starting off with GeneralMLD. General, good stuff tonight. Where can everybody find you?
Oh yeah, great show tonight. You guys can find me at MLD Ghost on X and Gamertag GhostMLD. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Looking forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too. Next up, Eric Shockley. Bud, good stuff tonight. I thought you had some really good pointers. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, as always, you can find me at ShockNero on Twitter, EZShock on Xbox Live. But yeah, good topics tonight. Hopefully we'll get news on some of these games going forward, some other glimpses, or maybe they'll give us more info on the exclusivity, but I think it's kind of already set in motion. Indiana Jones is exclusive. Blade's gotta be, so. But yeah, good show tonight. See you later.
Indeed. Next up, Centurion. Hey, I thought you had a pretty good commentary on all things Grand Theft Auto and Game Awards. Again, where can everybody find you?
Well, I'll try to make this quicker than Christopher Judge's future cameos in Activision. You can find me at Centurion1307 at YouTube, Xbox Live, and of course Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. You can also find me right here every Sunday night with this amazing group of gentlemen. And yeah, hopefully I didn't draw on too long and bore everybody.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Moving on down the list, Crusader. Hey, loved what you said as well, pal. Wonderful, wonderful chat. Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Crusader3456 on X and most other social media as well. Yeah, it was a great show. Great show tonight. You can find me doing some Skyrim mod reviews. I'll have probably another one up tomorrow.
Nice. Guys, check that out. All right. Definitely check out Crusader stuff. Next up, Grimes. Hey, I thought you had some really good takes, really passionate talks, and I really appreciate that. Where can everybody follow you?
You can find me on Fake Mayhem on Twitter. And yeah, I love the show today.
Short and sweet, I like it. Yeah, I agree. And let's see who we got here. Dots as well. Good stuff. Where can everybody find you?
Hey, yeah. Awesome show tonight. But when we go over the normal time, that means that usually it's been a good topic night. So that's a good sign. But yeah, no, you can find me usual place Dots RTS on both Twitter and on Xbox. But yeah, no, it's good week. Always happy to talk to you guys on Sunday nights.
Agreed. And of course, I'm Invader. You guys can find my content on YouTube at Invader Gaming, doing guides, reviews, and so on, unboxings. Again, fantastic show tonight, and we're looking forward to see you all back on the next one, next Sunday. Later, everyone. Have a good one.